everybody. Thanks for joining us today. My name's Amy Knight, and we're going to do a short little webinar on how to offload some of your year-end burden by looking at options of outsourcing your back office and what those best practices look like. So without further ado, we're just going to jump in and get going and keep everybody right on time. Along the way, if you've got any questions, there's a little Q&A box and you can post a question there and we will try to get that answered for you. So just real quick, I think everybody should be able to see my screen that I'm sharing with you. I don't have my camera on today because A, I'm a little distracting because I move around too much, and B, one of my light bulbs is burned out and so it's really dark. So a little bit about me. My name is Amy Knight. I'm a CPA here in Austin, Texas, formerly from Oklahoma, born and bred, OU grad. Had a loss this past weekend. We don't want to talk about that. I was formerly Amy Taylor, and I only mention that because we've been in the industry for a long time, and we're known as Amy Taylor and Company for a long time. So just in case you recognize that name, that's me, same group. We just rebranded a few years back. So being that we're in the industry, what I mean by that is specifically our CPA firm exclusively services home health, hospice, nursing homes, and assisted living, with the bulk of our practice being home health. And we are getting a lot more hospice clients as well as that industry continues to grow and evolve. So those are the only industries we serve. So we really focus our knowledge specifically there so that we keep up with all the trends, all of what's going on, all the best practices. And we really work with I like to say smaller providers, but we have some very large providers, and we've got actually a really big group that we do their cost reporting for. So we kind of range in size, and it just depends on the provider's perspective as to what they consider a good fit or not as far as outsourcing and accounting needs. Been here in Austin since 2002. However, we do have clients all over the country, and we're really involved with TAC, the Texas Home Care Association, for home care and hospice, and we've been a member of that for several years now and stay engaged with them to help support their mission. So today, what we're going to talk about is outsourcing back office. And so that's a couple of terms right there, back office and outsourcing. So first thing we want to do is identify, what do we mean when we talk about back office? And we'll get into some of that in detail. What does it mean to outsource it? Because this is, I don't want to use buzzwords, but it kind of is, and it's been going on for a long time, but it's picked up momentum. And so we just want to, what does it look like to do that? What are the benefits of outsourcing? And then probably one thing that scares people the most is, what does that transition look like? So that's my objective, is to get through those things and shed some light and just maybe help you make some decisions if that's something you're considering. So the first thing is back office. Some people have different definitions of back office, but with respect to home care and hospice, when we refer to it, we're really referring to your accounting, your bookkeeping, your accounts payable, your payroll, your human resources. And back office also, in my opinion, includes billing, collections, coding, chart review, basically everything administrative. So that's the back office. That goes on the back end, whereas your field staff and your clinicians and your clinical services would be more of your front end, if you will. So accounting, bookkeeping, payables, all of those are fairly easy to be outsourced. Payroll is almost always outsourced in our industry because you guys are very labor intensive, right? That's your biggest expense. It's your biggest effort of day-to-day, administrative duties. Maybe not. Billing's pretty big as well. Human resources, a lot of times that's bundled with your payroll. And so a lot of payroll companies could offer some add-on human resource functions. And then the billing, collecting, coding, chart reviews, these can be outsourced, although that's not always the best decision for agencies. I think it varies. I think it's fine in some cases. And in some cases, I don't think it's a great idea. I think it needs really careful consideration before it is outsourced completely. And probably your biggest consideration there is the turnaround time. You know, if you're, does it take them a week to build things that you could have built today and you send it to them and they build it in a week? You know, that slows down your cash flow. So something you want to look at. So outsourcing. Outsourcing, again, is another, kind of buzzword that people talk about, but it has a very specific meaning. I don't think it varies from industry to industry very much. And outsourcing means that you hire an outside firm or resource to handle those tasks for you. And the reason why it's becoming a bigger and bigger area and something that people consider doing is because you can outsource your accounts payable to somebody that's what they do. That's all they do is accounts payable. So they know how to do that best, most efficiently. Just like payroll. You've been outsourcing your payroll for a long time. And, that's not to say payroll cannot be done in QuickBooks. It can. It just challenges QuickBooks and it kind of pushes QuickBooks to its limit. And you will start outgrowing that QuickBooks file very quickly. It will start, if it's a desktop, it'll slow it down. Even online, it'll slow it down. But QuickBooks Online, you'll really start maxing out your limits there, especially if you're recording payroll in the amount of detail that's needed for your year-end reporting, such as your cost report. Those are topics that we discussed in prior webinars. And if you missed that, let me know and I'll make sure you have a copy of it. We did record those sessions and they will be they are posted on our YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube and you search for Knight CPA Group, session 1 is there and session 2 is there, which talk about the details that you need to have done in payroll. So back to outsourcing, there are firms that's all they do is payroll inside and out. They've got the best platform, meaning software. They got the best software to handle it. They got specialists that they know payroll. They know the payroll regulations inside and out. Maybe they specialize in payroll in your state, so they know all the ins and outs of the payday laws, whatever. That's why outsourcing is becoming attractive, so that you can focus on what you do, which is delivering patient care, right? Like you wouldn't outsource your patient care because that's your core competency and that's what you deliver. So what people look at is, what are my non-core competencies and can I outsource that? So my firm in particular, for example, granted I'm a CPA firm, I have a marketing consultant. I don't do a ton of marketing, and so I don't really have room for a full-time marketing staff at this point. And so I use a marketing consultant. So I outsource all of my marketing to her. She helps me put together plans and ideas. She executes them. She posts all my social media marketing. She puts together all my emails. She helped me come up with this whole webinar series. Those things I outsource because that's not my core competency. And it's not the best thing that I do. I also outsource my payroll to one of our payroll partners, so I can test it out, make sure it's working well and we get good service. So when I'm referring it to a client, I have confidence in what they're doing. So that is the idea of outsourcing. So the point of this webinar is to open your eyes to the possibilities of outsourcing basically your accounting department. We use the term back office to not only include accounting. Now, what I will not cover and will not really get into is billing, coding, QA, chart review, those things. That's outside of my world of expertise. I know a little bit enough to talk about it. I know who to refer you to if you need help, but my point is not to make a recommendation on that. So I'm really going to focus on, like we mentioned in the last slide, the accounting, bookkeeping, payables, payroll, and human resources. Those functions of your back office that can be outsourced. So one of the big questions we get and concerns that the challenges that we face when approaching this with a prospect is outsourcing. I don't want to give up control. So let's talk about payables, right? People get really nervous about outsourcing their accounting and turning over all of their payables. That's one service that we provide, right? We'll pay your bills for you. Well, their immediate reaction is, I don't have the cash flow to just pay every bill that comes in the door when it comes in. And if I send it to you, then that means you're going to go pay it. And that's not, with our firm, that's not what it means. Our clients, we process the payables. They send us, okay, these payables are approved, meaning that, I'm sorry, I got a question coming in. Okay, let me get right back to that. Let me finish this thought or I'll forget it. Meaning that these are approved and they're legit bills and we are going to pay them. So we put them in the system, we organize them and get them ready to go. And then we let the client control when they get paid. The client either tells us, hey, we're ready to pay these bills, or we even give the client access where they can go mark, okay, I want to pay this, this, and this, but I'm going to leave these still unpaid. So you do not lose control of anything when you outsource. I say anything. You lose control of recording the transactions and some things, but those are the things you don't really want to have control of. So let me read this question here. Okay, well, great. One of our viewers, participants, is actually a home health and hospice billing company that is named Dominion Revenue Solutions. So she's letting us know that she's available if you need help with any billing and credentialing services. So that's nice. Thank you, Blessing, for that. And she's posted it to everybody, so it's in the little chat group. And so everybody can get that. And feel free to email me, Blessing, and we'll just connect and exchange information. So what I like about outsourcing is it provides you with an expert that's what they do all the time, and therefore they're going to be the most efficient at it. Therefore, reducing your costs, making it affordable, and getting it done effectively. The other thing that I really like, and it's actually another CPA firm, but they work with like startup venture capital out in California. But they have a really great graphic that explains this, that when you outsource like your entire accounting department, you should find a resource and get a firm that you're getting a whole team of experts, right? That is really hard for you to hire in-house. So like with our firm, we've got a tax expert, we've got a payables expert, we've got a cost reporting expert, and then we've got, just general bookkeeping, QuickBooks Online experts. So you're getting all those resources in one package deal. Whereas, and those are literally separate people on my team, not just me saying, hey, I've got an expertise in each of these, right? What I know is I personally hold the expert on the cost reporting. That's my role. I am not an expert on tax returns. I know enough to answer some questions, but I'm always going to go to our tax expert to make sure I'm answering correctly. So when outsourcing with a firm, you should be able to utilize a full team with super deep knowledge, specific in your industry, and be able to pull from them for all the knowledge that you need to service your business properly. So you don't give up control. You get access to a whole team of experts. Sorry, my slides aren't fast forwarding. And so then what are the benefits of outsourcing? And to me, this number one, I guess I put it number one for a reason, is it minimizes your hiring needs. It really takes a huge burden off your plate of hiring. So, I mean, you've got to recruit, you've got to train, you've got to retain, you've got to deal with all of the HR components that go with everybody you need in the accounting department, right? And chances are you're going to outsource your cost report anyways. Very few people do that in-house. And then you're most likely going to outsource your tax return. Again, because you're not going to do that in-house. So you're already looking at outsourcing a couple of pieces. You've probably already outsourced payroll. So, it's only natural that, okay, well, what if I don't have to do all this bookkeeping piece that goes with it? And so, I can outsource that. It frees you from hiring. And with a firm like ours, we take that burden, right? So I take the burden of staffing to make sure I cover all the needs of my clients. But, when my staff go on vacation, you don't have just, hey, Victoria is your person. And by the way, when she's gone, I'm sorry, you'll have to wait until she gets back. That's not the case. I've got a whole team here that can cover it. So again, you get the whole team. And God forbid I lose somebody on the team, we still cover it. And so you don't have to go through that pain of turnover in the accounting department. And just kind of side note, being that we are accountants, I know how hard it is to hire, train, and retain accounting staff. Bookkeeping, accounting staff, especially here in Austin, it's really hard. So with the job market where it is, that's just something, it's easier to outsource that, hire a firm to do it, let them deal with those things. You don't even have to worry about it. It does provide you the freedom to walk away from those details. A lot of time, those are details that my clients don't want to do anyways. Most of our clients come from a nursing, therapy, or marketing background. They want to be out growing the business. They want to be out serving the patients. They don't want to be dealing with updating QuickBooks bank feeds or sending checks out to vendors. They just want to know that that's done. So our idea is we want to give you the freedom to get out and do whatever it is that you need to be doing. And maybe you're the business owner and you don't even want to be, maybe you're at the point where you're trying to grow your agency to where it runs without you, right? Maybe you've read EntreLeadership or you've read Clockwork about how to build your business so it runs without you. Well, then maybe you want to be at the farm, or maybe you want to be on vacation with the kids. That's the freedom that outsourcing these functions does and provides you. Some more benefits is that, again, this is a repeat, I'm sorry. I'm not always great at just reading from slides. I kind of wing it a lot. So that's a good one. Some people like it, some people don't. But again, you get an access to a full team of experts, not just, whoever you can find in-house. And also, if you outsource it properly, the right way, that is all one team, right? So what I found early on in my career and getting it, which from college, I landed right into home care. And so this is all I've been doing. So it's kind of all I know. Don't ask me manufacturing questions because I'm not real good at that. But I got a client and she said, look, I've got a consultant that does cost reports and one does quarterly tax return, payroll tax returns, and one does my staff enhancement, rate enhancement with Medicaid, and all these different functions. And I think we counted it was 5 consultants. We pulled it all in-house, bundled it all together, and saved her a ton of money. But then she had it all. We were a one-stop shop, right? So it worked really well. And then that's another thing that it benefit is that it saves you money, right? So the way I work it is I don't, we work on a flat fixed fee. We figure out what all is it that you need for the whole year. What task do you want to do? What task do you want us to do? We figure it all up for the whole year and divide by 12. And there's your fixed flat fee, right? You know exactly what you're going to get from us, and we know exactly what to deliver, and you know exactly what it's going to cost. And so 9 times out of 10, always, I haven't run into a situation yet where our costs are more than what it would cost you to hire somebody in-house, and still pay tax return and pay cost report fees. So our costs always come in less than typically even just a bookkeeper salary. Like if you want to segregate between a bookkeeper versus a degreed accountant versus a CPA, we're going to come in way under those fees in general, right, for everything that we're going to do for you. That last benefit, again, I already said it, is you have everything all in one place. It creates a cohesiveness. What's really cool as an example, we work with some nursing homes, and in our nursing homes, we are everything for them. We pretty much administer their payroll we have a payroll provider that we work with, but we're still kind of the boss of it, if you will, because we've got some real special reporting requirements with the nursing homes. So they seriously think we are in one of the offices down the hall. We do everything. They have what's needed at the agency level. Is just like an office manager type position that can forward data to us, such as all the bills that come in to be paid, and then make sure that the payroll data is being fed to the payroll team properly. But this idea of everything in one place, that team, those nursing homes, they know if there's anything that comes up to do with anything with payroll, HR, or accounting, you go to Amy's team, right? So it really serves them well. So lastly, the one thing that sometimes holds people back is the idea of making that kind of transition. And sometimes the transition is a big transition. Sometimes it's not nearly as much. It depends on how you're currently set up, who's doing what, how everything's operating. But the way our firm works is that we try to do all the heavy lifting for you. We are going to review how you do everything currently. We're going to review, okay, here are the best practices that we use, which we've covered in prior sessions again. We use QuickBooks Online. We use Bill.com for managing all of your payables. We deliver everything electronically. So we have a client portal that you live in. We've got a new ecosystem that we're rolling out at the first of the year that will be how you communicate with us, how you exchange documents with us. It's an app, it's a mobile app, it's an online resource. It's going to be great. But anyways, we try to do all the heavy lifting for you. We're going to set up if let's say you're in QuickBooks Desktop, we're going to take Desktop, we're going to clean it up, we're going to roll it into QuickBooks Online, we're going to carry in your existing balances. If you're in something else and we want to start from scratch on QuickBooks, we're going to set you up in QuickBooks Online. We're going to set up your beginning balances. We're going to set up your chart of accounts and everything. And we are going to do those things for you to take the burden off of you. We're going to assume that you're outsourcing because you don't have the manpower to do all of this, nor do you want to. That's why you're coming to us. And we're trying to make that transition as seamless as possible. Now, there are some things we're going to need, right? We're going to need access to online banking so we can, review the transactions, make sure they're connected to the accounting platform and the bill payment platform, and everything's flowing smoothly. So we're going to connect all of that for you. Lastly, my last thought is, if you are considering any type of major overhaul like this, or even if it's a small change for you, maybe you're already outsourcing, but you like how it's been done. End of the year is a great time to do it. A lot of people think the new year is the best time to do it, and that's really when we get the most inquiries, and that's why we're pushing these webinar series at the end of the year. Now is the time to be thinking about that from our perspective, and not to be inconsiderate of your perspective, but from our perspective, what we want to do is we want to get it cleaned up now and transition now, so that then you start the new year with a fresh set of books and a fresh clean slate, right? So that everything rolling in 2020 is perfectly designed. So think about payroll, for instance. Payroll changes are kind of hard to make. Like, let's say you want to restructure your pay items. This just happened. We had a client want to completely restructure their pay items. I said, that's fine and dandy, and we can do it at year end. But just know that the remainder of the paychecks from here out will be messy, because they'll show year to date is going to show the old pay item and the new pay item, right? So it's not very clean. So like for a payroll transition, we try to get it all lined out in November, December, and then trigger it for the January 1 forward payroll. So 2020, you don't have any of that ugly history. Same thing with your books. We may come in and implement a completely different chart of account than what you're used to. While we're pretty good at adapting what you currently use to a new model and transitioning those over, there are still going to be some changes, right? You may have payroll for nursing, right? All combined together. Well, we really need RN and LVN separated out. Again, if we do it now, it might be a little yucky for 19, but at least the new year is going to be clean and look really smooth for the whole year next year. Not to mention, you know, the first part of the year, the CPA firms, the accounting firms, we're just busy with year end, with 1099s, with payroll filings, with tax returns, with cost reports, with cleaning up and finalizing year end. We just get busy. So not that it's all about us, but it is something to consider. Definitely the CPA firms, the accounting firms are open to change now, and that's a preference. And so factor that in when you're thinking about if you're wanting to make a change, when would be the good time to do that? So if any of this resonates with you, if you're looking for change in your back office, if you're looking to lighten your burden with the year end, you know, when it's outsourced like this, at least with our firm where we do everything, there's not a lot at year end that you have to do. The biggest thing with us is you've got to maintain your PSNR login. I've worked with CMS for a while now and the EIDM system, and it does not work well for us as a consultant to have a login and attach all of our clients. We did several years ago, and when one provider left or did not reactivate theirs, it knocked out everybody's. So with working with CMS, they said it's not designed that way. Everybody needs to maintain their own login. So that's really the main thing that our firm requires the client to do on your end, is like maintain that login. And then even if you don't want to log in and get your reports at year end, as long as it's updated, we're happy to get in and get that report for you. But otherwise, we've got all your payroll data. We've got all your accounting data. There's not a lot that you've got to do to scramble and get things pulled together for the tax return, for the cost report that you may be used to experiencing as your operations are right now. So if it's something you're looking into, I'm sorry, I totally missed a slide. Feel free to reach out. We would love to talk to you, and we're here to help in any capacity that we can. So all of our contact information is right here. Again, and if you just have a question, just let me know. We'll follow up with a thank you email and a link to this video once it's posted to our YouTube channel. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for stopping by and listening, and hope to hear from you soon.